Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going through the Richmond Tigers AFL Fantasy Preview for 2025. Going through a team that is probably going to be rock bottom, pretty much I would say about a 90-95% certainty that they're going to be bottom. I don't see them, they would have to have the most lucky run with injuries, and other clubs having a really unlucky run with injuries, I feel like, to get out of that bottom slot. And I feel like that there's just more likely that that you will see the likes of probably Richmond get one, maybe even I think they'll get one, maybe two wins again, but they'll just have to blood these youngsters through, as that's what they're going to have to do. And that's why I think they'll be really fancy relevant with no early bye in the season. They have the round 0 bye. They'll be definitely relevant, I feel like. So anyway, let's jump in and get into them. So Vlosten, no, I just don't see there being much relevance there. The first guy we hit on is Jayden Short, and I was actually having conversations with someone. Let me bring it up here, and you'll see when this was actually made, this video. So you'll see, yeah, there we go. Where is it? Come on, gimme. There we go. Where is it? Here we go. So you'll see here that Rowan did this about Richmond at 1395 AFL fantasy points per game last year, and to expect to say Richmond to say below 1400 points per game is expecting an outlier. Richmond to most likely go up 14 to 1450, and I said that I'm looking at Short, expecting him without Rioli to potentially bounce back near his best. With Rioli averaging the third highest percentage of team points last year, there's definitely scope for Richmond's backline to improve. So yeah, I was just saying, I just think with I think also with Richmond trying to slow the game down a little bit, they can have a as their bottom four for uncontested possessions and also marks. I think that they could take on the approach of Brisbane or North next year. That will help them shift into get games into their youngsters without burning them out. And that's why I think Short is definitely a guy to consider early on. As you can see, this is recorded right after the Port Adelaide one that you saw yesterday. But Jayden Short here, looking at his numbers here, you'll see in 2022, he averaged 93.4 from 22 games. In 2023, he averaged 97 from 2022, he averaged 97 from 23 games. In 2023, he played 16 games, averaged 92.5. But then in 2024, he played 22 games, averaged 80.5, and had an injured 11. Take out that injured 11 and how he sort of bounced back from it, I guess. If you look at his final, you can sort of see he went in clumps. And you just see here that in the end, he averaged 83.7 after the injury, which is already a plus 3.5. That's with Rioli in the side. Take away Rioli, and I want to think that he would average more, to the point that I'm even going to open up this. Does it have the with or without matchups, fantasy break-evens, etc., miscellaneous fantasy scores, team averages, season-long, each positional character versus each team, with or without. Here we go. Nope, I wanted to end this tab here. There we go. I want to look at the Richmond Tigers 2024 run with or without. I want the likes of Short. That's what I want. Short, run with or without. I think this works. So Short, obviously I want to, or maybe I've done this the wrong way around. Daniel Rioli, I've done it the wrong way around. Daniel Rioli, I want the with or without of Daniel Rioli in terms of the stats on the likes of Jayden Short. And where is he? Jayden Short. Where is he? Jayden Short, 80.5. Let's run 2023 numbers with Rioli. And just trying to find Daniel Rioli. That should work. Run test. Run with or without. He played every single... Does he just play every single game? I want to find a game that he hasn't played in, just to show you guys what the with or without is, I believe. But it looks like he's just genuinely played every game. Let me just double check this. Daniel Rioli, when's the last time you missed a game? It looks like he's played every game basically since he switched at halfback, but I can look at the 2021 numbers because they are the first year that doesn't look like he played every game. And I'll look at that and just look at him in terms of what happened with or without Daniel Rioli on the scoring of the likes of Jayden Short. Without Daniel Rioli, he went at 98. There you go. It looks like, and that was 3 tons and a 65, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, they didn't really score too well. It doesn't look like with, so yeah, he was one of the better scorers without the likes of without the likes of Daniel Rioli. So that's a really good sign. I feel like, given that this is so many years ago as well, so it shows that he definitely does do slightly better without Daniel Rioli, I feel like, and so. After all that said and done, we get to the point now where we go back here to, that was Daniel Rioli, don't need that. Is this Jayden Short? There's Jayden Short's numbers. You see that averaging his best when he spent more time in the midfield. Is that right? No, it doesn't look like that's necessarily right. But with the movement of Rioli to Gold Coast Suns and Richmond not being the greatest side, I feel like Short could absolutely rack it up and be a top 6 defender. Yep, that's pretty much the thought there. Then we get to Luke Trainor in the basically down in the rookie side of things. If we just go down here, Richmond, Nathan Broad, don't think he has any impact. No, Noah Bolter, Ben Miller. You have pretty much all keys in this whole slot here. Then we get down to Campbell Gray and Luke Trainor. Luke Trainor was in discussion for a top 10 selection in the most recent national draft before concussion concerns got him drafted at 21 in the end, which has saved us somewhere between 30 and 50k. I have a feeling if he didn't have concussion concerns, North would have probably wanted to split the pick a little bit more, and they would have wanted him at like 8 or something if they could have gotten that deal. But in the end, I think they didn't want that in the end and thought better than doing that, and got Finn O'Sullivan and Matt Whitlock in the end. But Luke Trainor certainly was on the radar for them. In his 5 Coates Talent League games, he had 78.6, which for an average, 14 kicks, 5.8 handballs, 5.6 marks, 2.2 tackles. A taller rebounding halfback that I feel like can reasonably score and go 60 per game, which is a huge for the backline cash generation. Just could maybe take him a little while to get into the side, priced at 280k, and that's approximately 27.3 average. So that is basically the thoughts on the Richmond backline, and they're going to probably be the key cog, I feel like, for if they're going to have any primos, as I don't know if Taranto can necessarily take his game back to sort of the 110 marker, but he is in the next one to talk about, 95.5, priced at 979k, so just below the million, which is a good sign, I guess. And if you look back at his last time he was priced around this marker, or that average, he went 112 the following year. So he had a down year in 2024 after a huge year in 2023. You look at his 2021 numbers. I'm just going to bring this up for you guys. Tim Taranto here. And you'll see in 2021, averaged 106.5 and 107.6 in the regular season. 95 the year after that, 112.4. And then the most recent season, 95.5. And adjusted to a 99.9 if you take away the 2 games that he had injured. I believe if you do that like I'm about to do, it should come out at that number there, and it may even come out even higher if it does take into account the drop. Yeah, 100.5 in 13 games if you look at the non-injury games. So yeah, he's definitely a guy that has some massive upside potential. And we're just removing injuries, as I said, 100.5 in 13 games. If you actually increase this to just games above 70% CBAs, I believe if you do that, it's actually 98.6, I believe. Or are we looking at, am I missing something here? Yeah, so that actually doesn't help, I don't think. And just needs to get his points per minute up slightly, given that that if he wants to average 100 points plus, it needs to be 1 point or more. That's more in respect to this. If you looked at all his stats here, his big seasons are 1.04 points per minute. and his toll did take a little bit of a hit. So yeah, I'm not too worried about Taranto, to be honest with you. Yeah, for some reason I've got averaging above 70% CBAs. He's averaging 100.6, 101.6. I don't know exactly where I've got that stat from a little bit. There we go. Is that it? And then averaging, then include that. There you go. 10 games, 101.6 when he plays 70% CBAs. There's the stat for you. I just figured out that was the miss there. So yep, that is a big definite that if he can just get into the CBAs, he's good. So Timmy Taranto is definitely a guy that you should definitely consider, because priced at 95.5, if he can take that next step, then he can go back to 105, and that is, like I was saying with Rosie, that can potentially be top 8, and that's huge, or even just big enough that you're getting cash generation and you're getting a good enough score early on comparative to others there. And the next guy, we basically skip all the way down because Hopper, he's injury prone. Prestia, I'm surprised he hasn't retired yet. Jack Ross, no. Hugo Ralph Smith is a winger. Thomas Dow could take the next step, but I just don't believe in it, to be honest with you. If I just quickly do a Thomas Dow here, and I'll show you guys quickly, but I just don't believe in Thomas Dow taking the next step. They've done it this way, haven't they? No. Let me just look. There we go. I must have spelt it wrong, but anyway, you'll see here 51, 55, 47, 45, 26. You see, I don't see him taking that next step, to be honest with you. It doesn't look like he really has the ball-winning ability to do it. And yeah, I would just like to check his 2023 VFL numbers to confirm that, but I have a feeling, yeah, Thomas Dow in the VFL 73, so yeah, he's shown that he's sort of that 50s to 70s midfielder. So I don't like the look of that. So basically, the next guy up is the likes of a Sam Lalor. I thought I'd talk about him, even though I don't expect him to play early on. McIntosh, no. Banks, no. Let's just get through this. McAuliffe, another guy that people are saying could be the guy to break out. If we run this and get rid of this and go to Kane McAuliffe, a guy that I've sort of called my jets on a little bit on Kane McAuliffe. 49 when he gets full games. If we go to Kane, this is 2023. Let me go to 2024 VFL. Watch him be like a 110 scorer or something. A 91.1. So I guess you could say is a little bit valuable. Given that he's got 9 games at 39.8, that would price him at like 37 or something, or 38. 0.97 times the 39.8 is 38.6, which is priced at roughly about the 396k. So it could be valuable, Kane McAuliffe, but a guy that I decided to not put on here just because I think Josh Smilie, Sam Lalor, Josh Smilie in the first part of the season, Sam Lalor, as well as did they draft another midfielder, Taj Hotton as well in the forward line, even though I think they'll ease him in. They all start to take minutes away from Kane McAuliffe. So he's probably going to be the guy that I miss. So just wait. He's a guy that I probably will add later on in the year, but a guy that I'm just going to miss slightly to in this one here. Anyway, moving on down the list, we get to the 2 rookies in the midfield that they have selected. They went heavy with the keys, which I really like as a sort of rebuild strategy to get the keys in early, because keys take more time to develop, and I really like the keys that they were able to get in. But Sam Lalor, in the Coates League, he averaged 19.4 and 19.8 in 23 and 24 from 8 and 4 games respectively. 10.8 kicks, 14.5 kicks, 9.5 handballs, 8.5 handballs, 3 marks, 5.8, and then 7.5 tackles down to 3. So you can see that he's sort of transitioned from, it looks like more of that on-baller to more of that forward split player, that more of damaging forward type. So I think he's been dealing with some injuries, obviously, in the Warriors in the recent past, and that's why I believe due to the lack of footy in his senior year, he'll be nursed into the AFL alongside that of Hotton. If he plays round 1, it will depend where he's named, as he doesn't seem to be the biggest collector of the footy. He averaged in his underage year, basically 21 touches or 20 touches a game. And then in his senior year, he averaged 23 touches a game in limited games. So, I think he could start more of that half forward, playing a little bit on ball, sort of nursing him in. So that's why I don't think Lalor is a guy that, even though he was the number 1 overall pick, and we generally like number 1 overall picks for fantasy relevance, I just don't know. I'm more intrigued about Josh Smilie, and the guy that I'm going to bring up his Coates League stats for you guys. It's this one here. If I go to Josh Smilie here, you'll see 96 average in 12 games. He averaged 94.9 in 2023 from 8 games. 14 kicks a game pretty much in both years. 12 handballs and 11 handballs in the 2 years as well. So he's done, what's that, pretty much 25 or 26 touches a game both years, which is a really good sign. And 4.4 marks, 4 marks, so same there, and 3.6 and 3.5 tackles, so he's consistent there. Did have a dip in the National Carnival, which was a little bit annoying, as he was considered a number 1 overall draft threat for a good solid portion of the season. Him, Tyru, Trainor, Ashcroft. Lalor came late, to be honest with you. I'm trying to think of anyone else that was in. Foz was in consideration there, Jagger as well. So you had 7-8 guys just go, I'm the number 1 for basically a month, and then fall away a little bit, or keep in that discussion, I should say. And I think he'll be the better midfielder drafted by the Tigers in their 2024 crop for fantasy relevance early on, especially, or at least being the one pure midfielder in their 2025. Has done it for multiple years at Coates level, considering he was a number 1 draft threat, like I said, in the 2024 season. Slid to 7, which saves us 18k as he's priced at 322k, roughly priced at 31 to break even. And I could see him averaging 70 or so, but I have a feeling he's going to be a guy that burns out quickly. So because he's an on-baller and doesn't really have any versatile traits, it doesn't feel like he could push forward and act as more of that sort of third tall or so, I would say. But he doesn't, that's sort of one of his, he's kind of just a one trick, I feel like, more so than other players, more so than Taj, more so than Lalor, etc. So I have worries about him burning out like Ruben Jimby did. Harley Reid almost needed some time off, even though he could play forward. So those type of on-ballers, Riley Sanders struggled as well. So those type of guys that have 40, 50+% on ball early on in the season as their rookie year generally burn out. So I'm worried about Josh Smilie burning out quickly. So I'd just be worried about him a little bit there. Then we get to the likes of Taj Hotton, the last guy on the Richmond list that I'm looking at. Toby Nankervis, no. I just don't like him, to be honest with you, simply put. He's getting up there in age, and I think there are other ruckmen like Tom de Koning that can take over. Samson Ryan played a couple games. I remember him being a good cash generator for me in 2023, but just don't think he's going to take that next step. And then you've got a couple of guys down there. Tom Sims is one of the guys that they drafted, and I think that was a really good selection. Bolton, no. Mansell, no. Seth Richard, Campbell, no. Rioli, no. Kazitsky, no. Bauer, Sonsi, Lafau, no. Tom Lynch, Steely Green. These guys are all smalls or keys, effectively. Samson Ryan, Judson Clark, Fawcett, no. I'm pretty sure I looked up every single one of these guys, so I don't know their exact dimensions and what position they'll play, but I'm pretty sure I was able to just sort of check them off the list, so they're either probably a key or a small, I don't know exactly. Campbell Gray, but the guy I want to talk about here is Taj Hotton, and we will just go through a little bit of Jasper Alger's stats just to show you guys that he probably isn't the guy that you're looking for. Will play games early, but won't impact, I don't feel. Taj Hotton priced at 30, 307k. If he didn't do his ACL, he's a top 5 prospect. He absolutely smashed it. And I'm saying absolutely smashed it in 2024 to start the year. And I know that maybe his stats are a little bit outlierish because he played 3 games. But genuinely, wow. 3 games, 116 average, 158, 2 100s, 120 plus score, and the other score was a 90. Collected 26 disposals, 32, 28 disposals, so didn't go below 26. Averaged 14.7 kicks, 14 handballs, 7.3 marks, 2.3 tackles. He had a game of 158 where he had 32 touches, 10 marks, 5 tackles, and 4 goals. Genuinely, what the heck? And I just feel like he's a guy that in the forward line, when we get him, I feel like he's and like I say, let's just go back to my notes here. If this guy didn't do his ACL, he'd be the number 1 draft pick in the 2024 crop, or him and Ashcroft would be up there, I feel like. Having forward status will be huge. If he's named round 1, he'll probably be the most owned player in the game alongside Lindsay and Draper from the 2024 draft class as well. I suspect that Richmond will take the slow approach, however, with his ACL and lack of footy, and let him slowly find his feet. But when he does, and if it isn't in the vest, he's the easiest trade the following week. It will be 307k, and that is a little bit annoying given that we sort of factor in. Remember the days when we'd be like, oh, we need 200k guy there, etc. No, now it's like 300k almost, or 250k. But yes, he will be a slightly more expensive pickup, but he's a must pick up when we get him. I feel like, given that he's such a live wire, I don't think he played any VFL or anything. I think he just played the Coates games and maybe some nationals. But yeah, just a genuine gun. And then I just want to check with the stats here quickly with Jasper Alga. And let's just go to Jasper Alga's stats here. Jasper Alga. And this is why I feel like he will get games early, but 6 games in his most senior year, 57.5. I just don't like it, to be honest, as much. I feel like that is small forward material. If you go to Jasper Alga on Rookie Me as well, I think the same you get the same conclusion. That small forward or medium-ish forward that is like a goal sneak. And so, yeah, I just don't know if he's necessarily going to do the best. You can see all his numbers suggest this as well. National Carnival, 9 disposals. 9 disposals in the goal isn't going to do much, I don't think, in AFL fantasy. So, and then, yeah, so that's pretty much all the Richmond guys. I've somehow done it in 21 minutes, but I can tell you Fall, Armstrong, Sims are all talls as well. As you can see, Sims even has ruck status, but these guys won't be relevant, I don't think, ever in fantasy, to be honest with you. So anyway, that is the video there going through the Richmond AFL Fantasy Preview for 2025. If you guys did enjoy that video on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload. If you are listening on Spotify, give me a follow and a rating over there. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the St Kilda Saints. We have 4 more videos to go, 4 more previews to go for this AFL Fantasy season in 2025. So I'll see you guys for the Saints tomorrow. Bye, guys.